What's going on, buddy? My name is Eason, and welcome back to another video. And today we're getting into measures of development. So we're getting into measures of economic development and social development. And we're going to get into examples with the Gender Inequality Index and the Human Development Index, which measures two different pieces of development. Now, please subscribe. It really does help me out. This guy says to subscribe, and they obviously know everything, so do it. You'll get luck somehow. Let's get started with economic development. So measures of economic development include gross domestic product, gross national product, gross national income, sectoral structure of an economy, formal and informal, and income distribution. We're going to go through all of these individually. The economic ones, I think, are a little more important and a little harder to grasp than our social ones, because the social ones you kind of already know about. So we get started with gross measurements. So gross domestic product, which is our GDP, is the total amount of goods and services provided within a country in a year. So it's within that country's borders. So if a company has a factory in America and they sell products in America, then that's going to contribute to the gross domestic product. However, if they have factories in America but sell it in Germany, that's not going to be part of America's gross domestic product. Now, and then we have gross national product, which is the total amount of goods and services produced by a country's citizens. And this can be within or out of a country. So if you sell things around the world, however, your company's based in America, that's going to affect the gross national product of America. And then we got into gross national income, GNI, which is the GNP, the gross national product, divided by the population that creates an estimated, the population, and that creates an estimated income per capita. So GNP divided by population, and this determines the estimated income per capita per person, and this can determine standard of living and all that stuff. So those are our gross measurements. Now we have the sectoral structure of the economy. So we'll get started with the formal economy, which is taxed jobs and regulated by the government. This includes the five main sectors: primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary, quinary. Those are our five sectors, and these are part of the formal economy. Now, the informal economy are jobs that are not taxed nor regulated by the government. This could be things like the babysitting or the black market. The government doesn't, consider these as like official jobs and all of that, especially the black market. They don't consider that to be an official job, but they're not taxed, they're not regulated by them, and all that stuff. Now, which economy will you see more in LDCs? That's a good question to ask. So think about that for about a minute. You're going to be seeing the informal economy in LDCs. You're going to see maybe, more favors, more maybe like home jobs. So like someone growing crops and selling it to other people. That's the informal economy. All of that kind of things as well in our LDCs, less developed countries. And then finally, income distribution. So we have some questions starting with, what is the income of people in different areas of a country? How is income spread? Is it spread evenly? Is it not spread evenly? Where is poverty clustered? Where are more people getting money or not having money at? Where is income the same? Those are all questions we see for income distribution. Now let's get to measuring social development. So measures of social development include fertility rates, infant mortality rates, so the amount of infants dying, access to healthcare, use of fossil fuels and renewable energy, which is energy that is natural and can be renewed, which makes sense, and then literacy rates. So making sure there's no more. Anyway, so let's get through these. I don't want to go through this individually, but we know what our fertility rates are. These are not population increase. They contribute to population increase or decrease, but it's the amount of babies that a woman has. Infant mortality rates are just like that. Access to healthcare. This can increase life expectancy, make standard of living a little bit better, and all of that, and move people up that ETM. Use of fossil fuels. This seems alright. Are they using green energy? Are they contributing to climate change? Are they protecting the environment? All that thing. And then literacy rates. How can the people read and write? How much of them can? Can they do it at a certain level? Is there a gender that is reading or writing less? All of that. I'm gonna get into a little more literacy rates, and we're just gotta kind of see this by country. So these are literacy rates for 2015. Estimates correspond to share the population older than 14 years old and is able to read and write. Doesn't matter what language, it's just that they can read and write in some language. And we can see here that our developed countries are, I guess, have higher literacy rates. The ones that focus on education, ones that have maybe been a core country or are a core country now, are going to have good literacy rates. Like Argentina is not a core country. However, they have really good literacy rates, but they were a core country. They're a semi-periphery now. But we can see here that a lot of countries have good literacy rates. However, its primary are developed ones. Now let's get into the Gender Inequality Index, which is a measurement to determine the amount of inequality in a country using reproductive health, indices of empowerment, and labor market participation. Sorry. A measurement is using reproductive health. So, how much babies are being born? What's the problems of miscarriages or other pregnancy issues? Indices of empowerment. Are they in national legislature? Do they have a role in their country? And then labor market participation. What jobs do they have? How much jobs do they get? Who's hiring? What age are they getting their jobs at? What skills do these people have to get in jobs? What similarities and differences pop up within these jobs? What's the workforce like? What's the workplace like that these women are working at? What's for both of the men as well? So yeah, now let's look at the Gender Inequality Index on a map. So this is a cartogram, and then the lower the Gender Inequality Index means the less gender inequality. So the higher means more gender inequality. So our big blown up red orange countries are going to be high gender inequality. So we can see here our orange countries, they got some gender inequality, all right? And then our blue countries are not that big, Like look at Canada. Canada's small. United States, it's not Canada's level, so it's gonna be not super small. It's gonna be a good size as well. And yeah, there's our gender inequality index. But look at that, India has some big gender inequality. South Africa has bad gender inequality. All of our sub-Saharan African countries don't have the greatest gender inequality. Really, the only African country is Libya, which has the same gender inequality level range as America. Now let's get into the Human Development Index, which is a composite measure used to show spatial variation among states and levels of development. So it uses life expectancy, education, and gross national income. So let's get started just by looking at Human Development Index at a national scale of analysis. We're comparing data on a nation-by-nation basis. So the higher you are on this HDI scale, the more developed you are, the more education you have, the more income one has, all of that stuff. So we can see here our sub-Saharan African countries are going to be lower. They're not as developed. They don't have all that yet. And then those stage 3 countries are going to be kind of light green. India is an exception because of regional differences. And then our stage 4, stage 5 countries are going to be getting into a darker shade of green. Look at America. Look at Western Europe. Look at Australia. All of that. Now, what is an outlier? Identify a country that is an outlier when it comes to human development. Okay, I'm going to say an outlier. Is this? No, that's not it. Where's my pen? There it is. Okay. I'm going to say Saudi Arabia is a good outlier. To me, they're not the most developed country. However, they're pretty high up there. They have education, what's it called? Not demand, but like expectations. That's what it is. They have high education expectations, and they have money. They're at war, so they got to pay for war supplies, but all of that stuff. So to me, that's kind of an outlier here. Now let's get into life expectancy. So we're going to get into all these individually, all 3 things that contribute to the Human Development Index. So let's look at life expectancy. So sub-Saharan Africa, lower life expectancy. Western Europe, Canada, Australia, Japan, they got a higher life expectancy. Now, why is America not up there in the purple with life expectancy? Yes, we know there's 75 between 80. But a reason for this is a lot of degenerative diseases. We see a lot of these in America. And there's also regional differences in America. America's huge. I know Canada's huge as well, but most people are clustered in southern Canada. But look at America. America's huge. So if you go from California to South Carolina, you're going to see so much different things. I feel like looking at America, you're going to have to look at a regional scale of analysis, because America is such a big country. Now, a lot of countries are big as well. I mean, China's big, and that's the same as well. So what does that say? Bigger countries, we're going to see more regional variation and all of that stuff. Now let's get to education. So this map says mean years of schooling. So the amount of people in our schools, in the school systems. Now here America's in the top. They have high schooling expectations. Hey, Saudi Arabia has some big schooling as well. But look at this. Eastern Europe actually has a lot of schooling as well. So that's very cool. Australia, which is one of the biggest, one of the best in education. Like Finland's number one, I think. Finland's like right here as well. So yeah, they're in Eastern Europe too. But yeah, this is kind of cool to look at. Of course, Africa doesn't have a big mean years of schooling. Like, look at this. Like, look at Niger. Like, they have such a low amount of schooling for most people. Now let's get to gross national income. So, look at this. Saudi Arabia, another outlier with really big income, with gross national income. Why is this happen? Why is America like this? The poverty line in America is $20,000. The poverty line in our sub-Saharan African countries is not 200, a couple $100. So if you compare the poverty line in the African countries to America or Australia or Europe, it's going to be very different. So that's going to give them kind of a boost in gross national income, if that makes sense. So currency differences, standard of living, cost of living, those are some big things that can determine the gross national income and poverty and stuff. And you see such variations in the amount of money people are making. People are sometimes make hundreds of dollars a year in Nigeria, but people can make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in Australia or America or Canada or Europe. Hey, and that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment with your criticism. I love criticism. Like and subscribe. Join my Discord server. Links in the description down below. I got nothing else for y'all, so adios.